Don't bet.
Yeah, we back again on this favorite sofa, guys. One, welcome to the chat again, my guys. Welcome to the chat. You know, it's your boy Jay, Jollof Kate, and your girl Ayan. Yeah. So today, guys, I'm gonna my girl, let you introduce the new topic we're gonna talk. Yo, you know this, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when you wanna bring up this conversation, yeah. But without delaying anything, what do you have to, what's your question for the day, my girl?
Okay, guys. Wait. Babe, did you not say you're gonna ask me a question?
Yeah, you asked me the question first, though. I said I was gonna ask you the question, but you said, no, you have the question. So
No,
I said, yeah.
no. Again, you said you're
All
gonna
right.
ask me the question.
Guys, the question for me, what I was gonna ask her
Can,
was,
can you
yeah.
play again, please?
No, yo, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
Okay, sorry then.
run away from the question. I was gonna ask her, yeah, the number.
Number?
Because most men and women have different numbers when it comes to kids.
Okay.
Some men and some women have preference when it comes to kids. Some will say one kid is fine. Some will say two kids is fine. Some will say no, it's fine if you have any kids, whatever, whatever. But some men will say no kid, no kid. Some women will say no kid, no kid. One will fine, two is fine, or A, B, and C. So that was my question. Like, what's your take on when it comes to when people have I'm not saying that people cannot have preference, but
Yeah.
when it comes to kids now, going into a relationship, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my take.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, basically, I think being for me, two is a limit, not more than two. Basically, two is a limit. If I'm with
As a woman or in general?
in general, in general, I would say that usually people want to be with people without kids if they don't have kids. That is in general.
Yeah,
Then
that's kind of like basically more easier.
yeah, more easier. Yeah, then probably when maybe one has one and then they also want to say, I want to have somebody who's now also then probably has one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, in general, it's more of like balancing it out.
Yeah.
But then individually, some people also don't have children. But when it comes to men, they say, no, I don't mind a man with children as long as it's not more than two. Or as long as it's not more than one,
Yeah.
but also the age counts as well, because
Age,
women age of a woman to
age
get
of the
to
age of the woman. Okay.
yeah to
Okay.
get to the point of saying, now I don't mind a man with a child, or I don't mind a man with two children or things like that. The age also count,
Okay.
because when they are in their early 20s and they don't have children, they will say they don't want somebody with children. And then when they're now probably in their middle 30s and probably they don't have children, then they can say, oh, now I do want somebody with children, maybe
Okay.
not more than two, no, or maybe not more than one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it all falls into where you are at the moment.
Basically, your personal circumstances might dictate what you will kind of accept what's okay or and what's not okay, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
it. That's what I think. That's what I
Okay.
believe in.
Yeah. So that's true too, because some people their circumstances might make them change or shift from their original stand on certain things.
Yeah.
For instance, let's say if a man have, let's say, a kid, or a woman has a kid,
Mhm.
obviously they cannot say I cannot be with a guy with or a woman with a kid,
Mhm.
because that's because they had a kid. That's changed their
Yeah.
perception of what I'm saying, how they see things now.
Mhm.
But at the same time, for me, I think having a kid should not dictate whether you are with the person or not.
That's true, yeah.
Because, yeah, you will love whatever the person is. That includes the child,
Yeah.
if you're in love with the person.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I understand when people say or have limits when it comes to number of kids involved and age of kids involved. That's why I asked earlier, what do you mean by age? What you said as you in that case, like it's the parents basically, the woman or the man being old enough or whatever age they are in.
Yeah.
But for me, I would say the age of the kids. Because the younger the kids are, I will say there's advantage in that and there is disadvantage in that.
Yeah.
Good advantage is like you get to be a father or mother to raise young ones. I would say typically for the man them. I would speak for the man them. Because 90% of kids will be with the woman. So if as a guy now being with a woman who's, let's say you living together now and see her 2 kids, 2 young ones.
Yeah.
That's advantage to that. There's disadvantage to that.
Yeah.
You know. We don't have that much time to go into the more of a disadvantage and disadvantage of advantage of it. But we just in general, it's the advantage I would say would be as a man you go into to become a father.
Yeah.
So support.
That's
example, leadership and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the disadvantage could be also like you raising somebody's child and then you don't have or you're not given or you're not allowed or even to exercise as a fatherly figure to these kids or to raise them right, because 90% it will be financially okay, you will pay for everything, but when it comes to like let's say now putting on leadership and discipline and all that stuff, you will be limited. You can be stopped or you can be questioned or you can be allowed. Then why you something like that to the point some men don't want to get involved. That's why they will have a cap. They say okay, 1 child they can manage or 2 child they can manage. But when it becomes 2, 3, 4, like all of that thingy, and they're all little, it becomes difficult. So the other disadvantage also like when they have older kids. Now, would they respect you enough and respect their mother to say, okay, this is my mom's new man? The advantage is now you have great older kids that you can have a chat with and have a link up with whatever. So it can work and also it can also not work.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. That's very true. So you don't think that when people now choose to have people with kids or without kids is based on avoiding the dead party, because sometimes people are thinking there's gonna be so much drama here,
like a baby father drama, baby mother drama. That's a factor. That's a factor. That's a factor.
And especially if they don't have children themselves.
Yeah, no, that's a factor.
Yeah.
Not having kids could be a factor. Baby mother, baby father drama could be a factor, and also how old the kids are could be a factor, and how many kids are could be a factor.
Yeah. So are you saying that if you're with somebody who have children or who have a child, you are basically stepping up, like taking that big role, or?
It has to be because you're not just involved with the person, you're involved with whatever the person comes with. So the physical part the material part and the finance part is fine, but if the person comes with a extra physical person, that's also would be your responsibility, man or woman. As a woman or as a man, you cannot get into a relationship with a person, with a child, and say, no, that's not my child. Yeah, it's not your child, obviously. But as a man, that's not even a question. That's your child, not biologically.
Yeah.
But since you are now taking the role of being the man of the house, the man of the woman, so you are the man of that child too. So you take that responsibility financially, emotionally, whatever it takes with. But are you willing to? are you ready for that?
Mm.
So it's always good to okay, have preferences here, but also to know, okay, I can do this. You know, because it's not a joke to say, okay, you're in love with somebody and then you want to take care of their
Okay.
kids.
Okay. So it is expected, or do all mothers or all fathers expect that if you are loving me, you love my kids as well? Is that all a package? More likely.
It's always a package.
Me and my
darling.
children.
It's always
It's
a package.
package.
And I'm not gonna single out the ladies, but it's more her. You hear that more with ladies.
You hear?
Yeah, more than with
Okay.
the ladies.
Oh,
Because
so-
guys can be with you, not necessarily they need you to be the stepmother. Because they are not. 90% of guys are not. Don't have. I'm not gonna say are not, but we don't have full custody. We have joint custody, 90%.
Yeah,
So
but we have more stepmothers than stepfathers, though.
yeah, that's true. Because at the same time, yeah, you're gonna say you have more stepmothers than stepfathers. Because I would say it's 50-50. But what I was saying is like, because the child don't live with the father,
Mm.
yeah. So guys don't necessarily have to count on the new wife, new woman to look after, to
Mm.
provide for the child.
Mm.
But when the child is around, to show love.
Mm.
To know that okay, I have a child. You love my child when he or she is around.
Mm.
Do not have that or competing with the new child we have, me and you.
Mm.
That's always our main concern. Like okay, now me and you have a child now. You are now competing your child with my child.
Mm.
That's would be our worry the most.
Oh.
But it's no more like as a woman you with kids now. A man is now in that house with those kids.
Okay, we've had so much, and I will say 50 plus always stepmothers this, stepmothers that, stepmothers this, stepmothers that, and stepfathers is the same thing. So do you think loving an extra, not necessarily an extra child, but loving the children that's not people, that's not there, let's talk about mothers in this case, do you think that's something that just comes naturally, or they need to learn to do so? Because we've had, everyone will have a story of my stepmother abused me, my stepmother this, my stepmother this, and it's never really good stories. But you will have 2 out of 10 good stories. Do mothers have to learn to love the children, or it's just something that's supposed to come out naturally? What is that? Where's the line here?
As a man, I cannot answer that for the women, but as a man, we will wish that when a man meets a woman, she can equally love the children of that man, just as the man will love equally the children of that woman.
Mm.
But now, there's a thing now, yeah. Men don't have, let's say, you see, the man will not compete his kids with the wife kids.
Mm.
That will not happen. But you will see, sorry, because we have seen it where men write their wills and put their the step kids in it.
Mm.
We've seen that.
Mm.
Giving them shares, treating them equally. You see me? But the woman will always have a competition of her child with the man's other child to make sure her child is always first.
Yeah, what?
I don't know what caused that.
Yeah, what's the fundamental of that? Is it because
I-
of?
I think women are okay, we say men are protectors, but I think women are protectors.
Yeah, and also, we there's this thing that's
Especially when it
insane.
comes to their child.
There's this
Women
thing
and
that's
their child,
insane.
they will do anything, even leave the man for the child.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Protect him.
There's this thing that they say that women are more attached to their children than anything else.
Protect him.
Because of this
Bond,
the
they have
childbirth,
the bond.
the bond.
Yeah.
We talk about also the level of hormone that is released during the childbirth.
That's the bond,
yeah,
mother and a child.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes them really selfish. I'm not talking. I'm not saying.
It's not a bad selfish. In some cases, it becomes extreme. Where now we know.
Yeah, no, I
In
mean
some
like
cultures,
to say
Europe,
that,
America, and Africa, everywhere, we can see when stepmom become extreme.
No, I mean that to say that mine comes first.
Yeah.
It is because
Yeah.
of that
protection.
That protection
Yeah.
of mine comes
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
That's bond. That's hormone.
Yeah.
That's you know, that's childbirth. That's okay. Mine comes first, and anything else comes second or comes last.
Yeah.
But mine comes first, and
But
I don't know. I do not wish mine to fail, but then the other to arise, which is really bad. Then people now need to, in my opinion, I feel that despite the nature of it, people need to reason better.
that's true.
You know, people need to reason better. If you are in a relationship with somebody with a child or with children, whatever your limit number is, you need to understand that it is not just them. They come with their children as well. And you need to understand that the children are not part of whatever you are putting or whatever you are going on or whatever. They are not part of it. They know nothing.
Yeah,
they're just human beings.
They're innocent.
Exactly. They're just innocent human beings. They know nothing.
You chose to be with the person, so you take along with that. I can understand now if you're no longer getting along with the person. Whatever your decision is to be with a person, yeah, should be a positive thing towards the kids too. Because you're gonna say, I'm in love with you, and now I hate your kids.
That's true. That's true. You cannot say that.
No.
And at the same time,
no.
Once you have said I love you, that means I love everything that comes with you, including children, including family, including foes, including everything really. You love the person, remember? That's what you said that's what you said you do. But then again, when it comes to the limit number of children, this topic is not really about children. Probably it is about now people feeling that party. That's okay. Maybe if the children are 2, I'm not gonna have more baby drama. Pardon me. I'm not gonna have more baby drama issue, or I'm not gonna have more baby daddy issue. But now, if the children are 3 or 4, I'm gonna deal with so much that I don't wanna deal with.
Financially,
Financially, the dead party. Well, for women, most of the time is the dead party.
Yeah.
Is the dead party like the dead party? No, the baby mama. Oh, this. Especially if the
even men too. Men too have that problem to where the woman now. I think it's in both sex. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a baby mother or baby father, who is still touchy feelings with their baby, with their child's parent, come on, nobody's gonna be okay with that.
Yeah.
A man or a woman, we're not gonna be okay with that.
That's true. And then in some cases, we find that in relationship, here is a scenario. A woman does not have children and is in a relationship with a man with children, and seemingly seems like maybe the man is more into their children than the woman and all of those things. So sometimes people also in relationship, people with children and in relationship at the same time, they fail to balance
getting that balance of everything.
I'm as much as, especially also even mothers tend to do this. They'll put all their time, their devotion, their connection, everything into children than their spouse. And I'm not saying they should do more to their spouse than their children, but you must find the balance line. You definitely need to find the balance line of making it work for your husband or your boyfriend. Be there fully, 100%, and also be there for your children as well.
But the fact is,
at the end of the day, your children will grow up, will leave you, will have their own lives, and if the the history or the past you created with your husband or with your wife was not constructive or was not strong.
Yeah.
That's why you'll find that
A lot of divorces.
yeah, when you guys are old, even you just don't have anything to do
Yeah,
together.
end up divorcing.
Yeah, because you spent most of your time looking into children than yourselves. Now you are old, you have nothing to do, you are more into, you are busy following your children, and your children are having their own life. They are busy saying, oh, mom, you're bothering us, or dad, you're bothering us, things like that. So it is very important to also understand that and find that balance of, you know, my boyfriend, my husband, my children, or our children, because you're trying to create a balanced family.
Yeah, that goes both for men too. You know, basically that goes for men too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, so you know, pay attention to everything. You know.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, guys, when it comes to like number of kids, doesn't matter the number you're in. If you're going in a relationship, you gotta take in whatever the girl is with. Like, if you choose to. Because no one is putting a gun into you to say to be with the person, man or woman. If you like, and if you choose to be with the person and they have a child, one or two, those kids should be also yours.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, responsible, everything. You have to protect everything, basically. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And thank you guys. What do you guys think about, you know, being in a relationship with somebody who's got children that are not yours? Tell us, guys, what you think on the comment. Tell us your experience if you have had something like that before and what happened. And if you are in a relationship like that, how are you guys making it work for both of you?
Yeah.
We'd like to hear that. And see you next time, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us for more.
Yeah, we are out.